What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is BlackBoardGaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate ya.
Hey, everybody! So, a couple weeks ago, we told you what our top 10 board games of 2024 were.
Well, he told you his top 10. I told you my top 5.
Yeah. So, today, we're going to talk about our top 10 new to us board games that we played in 2024.
Even though they did not come out in 2024.
Yep.
Now, today, we actually are only going to have 10. I have 5 and he has 5.
Now, my 5, I'm going to rate, from 1 to 5.
All right, so ranking games is harder for me than it is for him. So I'm just going to talk about mine, but not from least to most favorite.
Okay, so without wasting any time, let's get right to it. So, I allowed you to go first in the last list. So, is it okay if I go first this time?
Please do.
All right, so my number 5 is a game called Tiwanaku. I hope I'm saying that right.
Okay.
And I think it's set in the Andes Mountains in Colombia.
Wow, that's cool.
And so this is a deduction game where you are trying to deduce where certain terrain types or certain out on the board and what kind of crop can grow on those certain terrain types.
Yeah, you love deduction.
Yeah, I do love my deduction games.
Okay.
I might do a video of my favorite deduction game. I might do that. But in this game, you have your little worker meeple and you're moving them across this board. And when you move into a clear space, then you're going to discover what kind of terrain is on that space.
Okay.
And so I think it's 4 different terrain types. And they can be like 3 to 5 spaces in size orthogonally.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, like I said, you can explore or you can divine. And divine means
figure out.
Yeah, you deduce what kind of crop is growing on that space, that terrain. And so each terrain can hold only one of each crop type. There's 5 different crops.
Okay.
And so if you deduce right, they're number 1 through 5. If you deduce right, like you said, this is number 3 here, and you deduce this is number 3, you'll get 3 points.
Oh, wow.
But if you deduce it's a 3 and it ends up being a 5, you lose 5 points.
You lose 5 points?
Yeah, because it was a 5.
Not a 2?
Nah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if it's a 2, you only lose 2.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it's pretty much, to me, it's Sudoku the board game to me.
Oh, wow.
Because I love doing Sudoku.
Yeah, you do.
So I really was attracted to this game. Well, I was originally attracted to it because of the box art. One of our local board game stores, they have a used board game section.
Which one?
Guild of Blades.
Okay.
And I saw it and I was like, I'm going to go home and do my research. Did my research, came back, they had it, and I picked it up. And I actually got the deluxe edition. It was only like $30. And I was like, okay, I got the game on the table, did the solo mode about 3 or 4 times. I said, I really like this game. I'm interested to get playing this with my Friday night board game group.
It sounds like y'all speed.
Yeah. But I really do love Tiwanaku.
Okay.
Okay. What's yours?
Okay. So, when I was a teenager, I loved reading Harlequin romances. So, my first game reminds me of it harkens back to that theme.
That setting?
Yes.
I know
My
where this
first
going.
game is Obsession. Now, in Obsession, you play a family that's trying to go up in the social ranking. And you do this by hosting events, social events at your estate, and by upgrading your estate. And the challenge is, in order to host an event, you have to have the right mix of guests and the proper servants available.
Yeah, because some of those guests require specific servants in order to serve them.
So, so that makes the game interesting and challenging, and it's a lot of fun. So I really enjoy Obsession.
Now, I played this game. I was taught this game like late 2023.
Okay.
So I was able to teach you, got it to the table. The designer gave me a copy of this game for review back in Grand Con, way back in 2023.
Okay.
You know, and I was excited because, you know, I'm always looking for games where you would appreciate the theme. And I hit a home run with Obsession.
He did.
So, yeah, so that's your number 5.
That's the first one I'm talking about.
All right, well, let's go to the next ones. The next game, my number 4, is Crusaders Thy Will Be Done. I've seen the game on the shelf, but I just was never attracted to it. And then my Friday night board game group, we decided to play that. And I really fell in love with the game.
All right, so that name, please do explain.
Okay, Crusaders Thy Will Be Done. You take on the role of, you're sending your knights out onto the board to build up buildings, to conquer other folks or whatever, or gain influence. The cool part about this game is how you're doing that. It's a rondel that you have cubes on. And then what you're doing is, you're going to take an action. And depending on the number of cubes that's in that section of the rondel, that's how powerful your action's going to be.
Okay.
But the thing is, once you take that action, you're going to pick up those cubes and you're going to place it Mancala style.
Okay.
Around. So the next action might be influence, and it only had 1 cube. Now I got 2 cubes.
Okay.
You know, and so now you decide what you're going to do, and that's what I really love about the game. Now, right after I was introduced to this game, like Black Friday, Tasty Minstrel Games, they originally put it out, but Renegade picked it up. And so they had a very good Black Friday sale, the deluxe edition. And so I had to get that. I was like, I'm not gonna look at the Black Friday because I didn't want to. I already got games. That one I couldn't pass up.
Okay.
I couldn't pass that one up. The deluxe edition, it was like literally more than half the price.
Less than half the price.
Yes, less than half the price. Okay.
All right.
All right. So. That is my number 4, Crusaders Thy Will Be Done.
All right. So my next game that I'm going to talk about is Barcelona. Now, Dwayne scored, I don't know if he got Barcelona when we went to
Gen Con
in Indianapolis.
Yep.
And I had wanted to play it ever since he got it. So we finally got it. He finally got it to the table with me.
Yeah, because I had played it before with my Friday night board game group.
Now, Barcelona is essentially a city building game. And so I like the theme. One of the things I do like about it is the different levels of people. What is it? The working class,
lower class, the middle class, the upper class.
Yeah, so obviously if you have the upper class, you can do a little bit more than if you have the middle class and the lower class. So I mean, that's real life actually. But I really like it. It's very visually appealing. It is a little busy as far as the options and the choices.
It's a point solid. It is a lot of ways to score points in that game.
Yes. And I like games where you have a lot of options on how you can pursue your points. So I like that part of it, and I like the look and feel of the game.
Yeah, like I said, I hesitated to show it to you because I knew that it was a lot of ways to score points, and that's why when we played it, I'm like letting her know what options she could take, and so you're taking your upper class or middle class, you put them at a street corner, and then you're gonna take actions that's
You put them
connected
at
to
an
that
intersection.
yeah, and so. I knew you were gonna like it, and I'm glad by the same designer. Wasn't Windmill Valley your number one?
No, it was number 2.
Number 2? It was one of them.
Wait a
It was
minute.
high up there.
No, it was number 1.
Yeah, that's your same designer.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So yeah, Barcelona. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you came out of your comfort zone and tried it out.
He thought it was gonna be too hard for me. That's what you meant.
Yeah. But you really enjoyed it, and I'm glad.
Yes.
All right, let's get on to the next one.
All right.
So my number 3 is a game that was sent to us for review way early in the year. And we did a video for it. And this was probably one of the hardest cooperative games that we played.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Daybreak.
Oh my goodness. That is a challenging game.
Daybreak is pretty much we are cooperatively trying to battle the effects of global warming.
All of the effects.
All the effects. You take them a role of different, like, I could play the United States, and she might play as China, and then other players will play as the rest of Europe or whatever. And we are trying to combat global warming. And we're doing that by playing out these cards. And so there are certain cards that give us certain actions that get rid of emissions or might add trees out onto the board or whatever. The cool thing about it, there are some cards that allow us to share cards with the other people at the table. So we're really working cooperatively. And the fact is, we can. There's these tags that are on the cards. So it might be a card that says you could do this number of times as you have this many tags. So you can upgrade that card by putting a card behind it that has that tag. So that which makes that action more powerful.
Yes.
Or you could just add another card, discard a card. And the other thing I really like about it is the things that we are doing to help are like all bright and like it gives you that hopeful like art or whatever. But when something bad happens to us, oh man, the pictures on those bad cards just like hopelessness and all that.
Yes.
And like we played this, I think we finally won once. I think I've won twice. I played with my Friday night board game group.
And we played with our friends Ryan and Emily, and we barely won.
That's when we won.
But we barely won.
But we won.
Yes.
That game is hard.
It is.
But it is so good.
It is.
So I had to point Daybreak definitely. Like I say, it came out in 2023, but we got a review copy in 2024. And that's when we were introduced to it. So that had to be on my list. That's my number 3.
Well, that's a good choice.
Okay. So what's your next one?
All right. So my next game is Ark Nova. Now, I think it's fair to say
she finally played Ark Nova.
Ark Nova is the limit of how complex of a game I can play. It is the limit. I like the theme. Of course, I love the art. But what I like about Ark Nova is you're not just building your zoo. You're benefiting the animals. You're doing research. You're releasing animals to the wild. You're working with other organizations. So your ultimate goal is to improve the life of animals and not just put them on display for people to come look at. but there are so many things to do. One of the things that I was introduced to in this game and that I really like is the different action selections, the choices you have. They are numbered from 1 to 5, and 1 is the weakest strength and 5 is the strongest. And depending upon what you want to do, you you so as you do an action, so if I do a 5, everything else slides down.
Yeah.
And
Your action cards.
Your action cards. And so, you know, if you want a certain thing to be a 5, first of all, you have to do something that's a 5 to move that down. And so you're constantly trying to manipulate the strength of the actions that you want to take. And that requires a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, and a lot of strategy. But it is so enjoyable.
Yeah, it is so good. And like that just shows like if you're invested in the theme, you're willing to put in the work to experience this game. And that's why I love Ark Nova.
Yes.
I like the fact that you're building a zoo, but like you said, you're not just putting animals in cages. You're trying to make their world better. You're trying to study and like, what can we do?
Yes.
You know? And so I really, really love Ark Nova, and I was just ecstatic that we finally got it to the table.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
All right. Let's go on to the next one.
All right.
So my number 2 is a game that came out, and I picked it up, and I was intimidated by the game. I was like, I literally was scared to play it because I was like, am I going to be able to figure it out?
Okay.
But I finally, put my intimidation aside. And if I had played this I didn't get it until 2024. Came out in 2023. But if I had played this in 2023, it would have been like at least in my top 3 games of that year.
Oh, wow.
And that game is Evacuation.
Oh, okay.
Now, Evacuation is a engine deconstructing, engine building.
So you got to deconstruct and then rebuild?
Yeah, because pretty much Evacuation, the planet that you're on is about to be destroyed. So what you're trying to do is get everything all the stuff that you can build up, that gives you your resources and stuff, you're trying to get them on ships, and you found a new planet. So you're trying to deconstruct all that stuff and move to the new planet.
That sounds heavy.
I mean, I took the time to learn it. You know, I watched some videos, and I was able to teach it to, guess who? My Friday night board game group. You know?
Yeah, that sounds heavy.
It is so fun. You know? And I mean, but I love the puzzle. And it's very thematic because like you're creating these resources. The thing is, if you generate resources on the old planet, then you can only use those resources on the old planet.
Oh, wow.
But if you generate resources on a new planet, you can only use those resources on the new planet.
Okay.
So you could transport resources over to the new planet and then use those resources over there to build up the buildings that produce like metal or whatever the resources are. But I really fell in love with this game, and I'm glad I got past my intimidation of the game and was able to play it. And like I said, I really love this game.
Okay.
So, and I know you're not, you just said Ark Nova is your limit. So yeah, this is past that. I think so. But that is Evacuation.
Okay. All right.
All right, what's your next one?
Okay, so my next game is a lighter game. Come Sail Away. Now,
sail away, sail away, sail away. I'm sorry, I had to do that.
The theme appeals to me because I do enjoy traveling, and yes, I love cruises. So basically, you're part of a crew of a cruise ship, and your job is to get the passengers in the right spot, whether it be their room, whether it be in a dining hall, and it's color based. So you have to go by the different colors, and it's it's really fun. The thing is, if you are not able, you pull cards that have the options of the
How many guests that you
And-
need to put on the ship?
and what are the restrictions on where they can be placed. If you are unable to place a guest, you have created a disgruntled customer. Clearly, you don't want a whole bunch of those. So it's light, it's enjoyable, it's a cute theme, but it's still challenging.
Now, the thing about it is, like I said, when you're placing these passengers out on a boat, you're placing them Mancala style, like when I mentioned in the Crusaders.
Yes.
And you got to place them, their color has to match the room or the dining hall. You know, you can only have a certain number of colors in the dining hall or whatever, or out into the middle part, you know, where they're just gathering
Like
and stuff.
the deck.
Yeah, something like that. But and like I said, if you can't place them in their specific rooms, they're gonna go out on the dock, and now you're gonna score negative points. Now, of course, PAX Unplugged, I met the designer Sashi, and my plan was to get all Sashi games that I didn't have. He did not have Come Sail Away. I want Come Sail Away.
No, that is actually a Sashi and Sashi game that I like.
Yep, you do. You do like Sashi and Sa. That particular game. You know, the other one, she's like,
Yeah.
I love them. But there you have it. You know, so you know, because she likes it, I gotta find Come Sail Away. I gotta get a copy of that one. All right, let's go to our last one.
Okay.
Okay, my number one. Okay, so if you have been following, you know, I was doing my personal board game challenge. And I talked about a game that was in the collection, Alma Mater, which I did enjoy. Now, also, if you've been following that personal board game challenge, that's out the window. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. It's too many games.
He's not going to make it by 60, maybe 65.
But anyway, so guess who's back? My Friday night board game crew. They introduced me, since we play Alma Mater. One of my friends had Coimbra.
By the same people.
It's by the same. I don't know about the same people. I know it's by the same publisher or whatever. I believe so.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. But anyway, Coimbra is my favorite game of 20 that was new to me in 2024.
Okay.
Now, in Coimbra, I'm not exactly sure the theme, but what I like is what you're doing is you're drafting dice.
Okay.
Okay? And when you draft the dice, you're going to put it into your personal, you have these little castles that you can place your dice into.
Okay.
And then you're going to use those dice in order to draft cards into your tableau.
Okay.
You know, and these people are going to help your status. You're trying to grow your status. And so when you draft the card, once everybody's finished drafting their dice, you place your dice over on that side where you're drafting the cards. Then depending on the pip value, if it's a high pip value, you get to draft first. But then again, you have to spend that much in resources like either money or shields.
Okay.
And then when you get that card, certain things happen. Like there's a track that you're trying to move up on. And this track is kind of like your income track. Some of it, like you get, when you do your income, it determines how many coins you get, how many shields you get, or how many points. And there's also a track that determines how far you can move out on the board. You have this little meeple that moves out on the board, and you get points or resources in that way. You know, and I really love the mechanics, the dice drafting aspect of this game. Like it's I think it's 3 or 4 different colored dice that match the tracks that you're moving up on. And I am so glad Brian introduced me to this game.
Okay.
Coimbra is my favorite, new
to
to me of 2024.
All right.
Okay, what is your last one?
So my last one is First in Flight. Now, anyone who has watched our channel knows I love history.
I think if you have ranked your games, First in Flight probably be your number one. I'm
So,
gonna be honest.
it probably would be. So, first of all, I love history, and I love the historical nature of this game. So basically, what you're doing is you're simulating the Wright brothers experimenting and refining their design and testing their flights.
Yep.
And
Along with some other folk.
So you get to have helpers and, you know, other people who are important in aviation or engineering. And so you kind of you start off with a helper that gives you an advantage. So we played the first time and I won. And I don't know who he played with, but he switched up and he got Bessie Coleman. And I think he beat me. So when we play again, I'm gonna have my girl Bessie.
So anyway, First in Flight, it's a deck building game. You're gonna start with a certain number of cards that determine how far you can move around, how far you can fly, and then you're moving your airplane around this rondelle to take actions like gain money or gain helpers, as you said, or to upgrade your deck. You know.
And when you are ready and you think you have enough or you ready to fly, you can fly and see how far you go. The goal is to reach, I believe it's around 40. So the first person that reached 40, is it the first person that reached 40?
That signifies the end of the game. And so we make sure everybody get the same number of turns. So the next person might fly all the way up to 50.
Yeah.
That happened to me.
But I love the theme. I love all the historical information that's included in the game. I love the action select, you know, the card building aspect.
The deck building.
The deck building aspect. So this game is definitely a winner for me.
Yeah. You know what I really like is how far you can fly. And then there's like you say, you're testing it out. So there are certain issues that you might come
Mechanical
across.
problems that you're going to come across.
So you have the opportunity to go to the garage as one of the actions to fix that problem. If you don't, then that problem is going to go right back into your deck when you try to fly again, like you never fixed that problem.
And it's going to come up.
So yeah, I knew, like, I was introduced to this game in 2023. And I immediately bought it, and then I drug my feet on showing it to you. And then we finally played it early this year.
Last year.
No, early 2024. Yes, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting it's a new year.
It's a whole new year.
So, you know, so there you have it. Now, I did have an honorable mention, but she nixed that right away. She's like, nope, no honorable mentions.
It's called a veto.
A veto, okay? So, in the comments below, tell us, is there a game that came out pre-2024 that you were introduced to in 2024 that you really, really enjoy? I would be interested in it because, like I say, I'm always, you know, wanting to try out different games. And if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been BlackBoardGaming.
We will see you next time.